Hey everybody, Sean Holsinger here with you again from holsingersflyshop.com. Tying another one of our jig flies. This one we're going to call it the Copper Jiggy John. It's a copper john tied on a jig hook. You can see I tied this one with a green wire. I'll pop a couple other ones in the hook here real quick for you. There you can see the chartreuse color shows up real nice on this. And I even tied one in gold. I just tied it in a couple different colors here. I'm going to tie the video for you in gold, and we'll show you how to do this one. Experiment, like I always say in all my videos. Experiment, play around, have fun, and try different colors. See what works in your area, whatever works for you. Whatever works for you might work better than what I have in my area. Stick to the pattern is the key, but change your colors. And I try to stress that all the time in my videos, and I hope you get that from me. I hope that you learn that lesson from me, that the importance is learning the patterns, learning the techniques. The colors vary by areas and different things like that, so you can sometimes get away with changing the colors and stuff like that. The hook we're going to use on this H450BL Hannock competition hook, size 12. I tie this anywhere from a size 16 to a size 12. I just happen to have a size 12 here available today, hook at the house where I tie my videos at. And next thing I'm going to put on is lead wire, 0.015. We have, if your state requires it, we do carry lead-free wire at the shop, so feel free to look us up at the shop for the lead-free wire if you need that. And I'm going to put about 5 or 6 wraps. I got a couple more than that, but usually when I pull it, I lose a wrap or two, so I usually give an extra one. Where I want to end up is about 5 or 6 wraps. And then I'm going to push that tight up against the bead. And let me get the, oops. I'm going to make sure I get this laying over. There we go. Got that over the hook where I want it there. And then I'm just going to push that tight up against it. And then I'm going to put some thread on, oops, to hold it into place. I'll clean that little patch of lead off here in 1 second. But just wrap that in and get that wrapped into place like that, and try not to put too much thread on there right now to build it up. We're going to be building it up as we go, so just put a little bit to get it covered up, and that's about all we want. Next we're going to take our thread back. And one of the reasons why I tied this video is I was watching some other videos there the other day, and I saw somebody tying one like this, and they actually tied it upside down, and it won't fish the way it was intended to be fished, like the Copper John does. Before I go further, you saw me put a little ball of thread there. I do this in all the videos where I use biots for tails. I put the little ball of thread there. That will help splay my tails out. But what the guy did in the video, he tied the flashback on what is now the top side of the hook. When you fish that, that's going to actually be the bottom side of the hook. So we want to tie the flashback on the correct side of the hook on this video. It's a nice looking fly he did. I give him a lot of credit for the quality of the video and everything. It's just I noticed that it was tied on the wrong side, and believe me, I do stuff wrong all the time. I'm first to admit it. You guys pointed out all the time about wrapping hackle the wrong way and kind of stuff like that. It's a little difficult, and you don't always think of things when you're tying, so when you're tying on the video, your mind is more about talking and keeping you guys interested in what you're tying, and sometimes you don't always get things exactly correct, but you come out with the correct result. You can see there what tying that ball at the back of the hook did display those goose biots. Next thing we're going to use, they were brown by the way, next thing I'm going to use is some brassy or medium, if you have medium, gold wire. And use, like I said, here's the part where change your color a little bit. If you have green or chartreuse, if you like to fish chartreuse like I happen to, this is the time to change the color of the fly. Experiment, load your box up with it. And we're just going to wrap this on to the bottom of the hook which will actually become the top, but I'm just going to cover that the whole way up. And then I'm going to take my thread and I'm going to smooth this body out, because the wire here that I wrap over top of it is going to pretty much conform to the shape of whatever thread buildup I make right here. So I'm just going to get that nice and smooth, build it up just a little bit. You can see how it's nice and smooth, cigar shape almost. And then just going to come in and we're going to start wrapping this. We'll wrap this the whole way forward. And I like to hand wrap this instead of using my rotary vise. I can get it a little bit tighter by taking my time and hand wrapping it. If it's not perfectly tight, that's fine. Have a little bit of color show through it. Put a different one. If you paid attention to that green one, the first one I had on there, I actually tied it with orange thread underneath to give it a hot spot at the butt, and then I come back in, put orange thread to give it a hot collar. And I'm going to stop it about right there. I'm going to stop it about a bead's width from the bead. And we're going to tie this off. Okay, now I want to take and I want to seal that down. You don't have to do this step. If you want to, go ahead. I'm going to. I'm just going to take a little bit of UV glue. Going to use the UV thick. And I'm just going to seal that wire. And this will actually, because I'm tying it on a size 12 especially, this is going to give it just a little bit more body to, to give me a nice equal size. And just going to got a little bit much on there, so just smooth that out, and then we'll hit this with the UV light. Alright, and that's good. Alright, got a little ball there on the hook. We'll pop that off. Okay, now, like I said, when the guy I watched tied the video, he tied the flashback on what is right now the top side of the hook. Well, because of the way this fly is going to fish, the way you tie into it, you're tying into it like this. Your line's coming down here. This is going to be the way it rides in the water. So the top side, where you want the flashback, where it's going to be seen by the fish, needs to be in this area. So we're going to do this the correct way right here. What we're going to use from our flashback on this is a wide mylar pearl tinsel. And I'd start it on the side there and roll it up onto the top. Then I'm going to come in with a piece of turkey tail, and actually I get like two or so shellbacks out of one of these turkey tails that I clip off. And this is actually the second one. So just clip about 6 or 7 fibers off of a turkey tail, and we're going to get it up on top, just the same, right over top of that mylar, keeping it in the center, wrapping it down. And I got a couple little tags here. We're going to cut them off. Okay, put a little thread to cover them. There we go. Now the last thing, I want to put a collar on here, and what I'm using for a collar is I'm using a peacock eye, just using the herl right around the peacock eye. It's a little bright. I like the brightness of it, a little bit brighter than a normal herl. Use the normal herl if that's what you have, if you don't have a peacock eye. This is just what I like to tie with. Put that on there, and then we're going to wrap this forward, and we're going to cover up our collar there. Make sure we get that all filled in, and once we get it up to the bead there, we're just going to wrap it off. Okay, this next part is optional. If you want to put legs on it, I like to use a pheasant tail. Pheasant tail works good. You can use some fibers off of partridge, whatever you like to use for your legs. I like to use pheasant tail. They work real nice for me. I'll cut about 6 or 7 for each side. And then I'm just going to hold it onto the side. I'm going to do my side closest to me first here. And I don't want this to go further than the body. And I'm just going to put 2 wraps just to hold it into place. I'm going to get another, 6 or so for the other side. Make sure you get the tips lined up so they're all the same length. You can see how they're a little bit different there. So try to get the best you can, get your tips lined up, and then just pinch it on the side where you want your legs to be, and put like 2 good tight wraps there. Then we'll trim these off. Okay, now we got our legs on there, you can see. Now we're just going to start pulling our back over. First we'll pull the turkey tail over, and then I tend to put it in between the jig eye there. 1 or 2 wraps there. Put my mylar tinsel over. Another 1 or 2 wraps. You don't want to make too big of a collar here, so kind of try to keep your wraps to the minimum. Alright, and then we're just going to whip finish it off. Okay, and if you put your knot of the whip finish on the top, we're going to build a little ball of UV glue up there. So if you can, finish your knot on the top so it gets glued down good. And we're just going to hit it with a little UV glue. And I'm using the thick here, Loon thick. Loon UV thick, I should say. I think I messed that up. But we're just going to make a little ball up there. Build that up just a hair. And then I'm just going to drag a little bit down over the thread. So I lock in the threads on the bead there. You don't have to get the bottom. But like I said, build up a little hump above that flashback. And then we'll hit it with a light to cure it. And there is our copper Jiggy John. Not that hard to tie. Give it a try, just like a copper John, except we're tying it on a competition hook. And the reason why we tie these is, like I said, your line is going to tie in this way, which will make the fly ride just like it's showing in the video right now, which will keep it, when it bounces against the rocks and stuff, keeps your hook point off the rocks, and you should hopefully get snagged less and lose less hooks. Of course, that doesn't always happen, but it's, in theory, it's what should happen. So give this a try. You need the stuff to tie this. Look us up at holsingersflyshop.com. And thanks for watching, everybody. Like I always say, I really enjoy bringing these to you. And keep watching, keep looking back, and subscribe to our channel so you know when we bring a new one out. We're trying to bring 1 out a week at least. And we'll be bringing some extra ones out from here and then. So thanks for watching. I'm Sean Holsinger.